Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now last episode we got started in Techopolis 3 and we've made it a little ways along the path. We have automated our wood production by having a couple of cloches, and you can see my massive array of furnaces behind me for our semi-auto smelting. Today we are moving on to further into the hot stone quest line. So with no further ado, let's dive right in. At the end of the last episode, we went ahead and made one cloche, and we upgraded that with our shears upgrade and our fixed speed upgrade. Now, the fixed speed upgrade doesn't do much. It only takes 100 ticks off, and when you're dealing with 1200 ticks, well, that's just not a lot, friends. So I went ahead and made a second one between episodes, and then that was really slow, so I made 8 of them altogether between episodes. So we now have this whole array of just oak sapling cloches, and that's getting us a decent amount of wood and some leaves. We don't have shears upgrades on all of them, so we're not using all of them for leaves, but we are getting some sticks and some apples, and that's going to be our primary source of food. Now, the leaves, as it turns out, is going to be a way that we can get more dirt. I had been playing this in such a way that I was treating it like a skyblock, right? So I didn't want to get free dirt until we had access to free dirt by just, digging up the ground. The platform you spawn on in the skyblock version is relatively small, so I have not been generating more dirt for us. But now that I have access to unlimited dirt, I feel fine digging up the rest of this, but this is how you primarily are supposed to be getting dirt, so that's what we are going to do for at least until we run out of leaves, or we might need to use these for string. I don't know what's going to happen yet. We will find out shortly, I'm sure. Now, into the next quest line, we need some more cloches because we are going to grow canola seeds in those, and that's going to make canola for us. This canola, we are then going to be using, I think, let's see here, to make our main output upgrade. This increases the amount of output by 1. That's not a lot, but it's certainly something. So I made up a couple of cloches between episodes. All we need to do here now is make up some chests as well so that we can start putting those to good use with our new dirt. So we'll put in an additional cloche array right next to this here. We'll put our hoppers in there. We'll put a cloche here, cloche there. Everywhere a little cloche. Let's grab up some... Oh, and I forgot, we have other things here too. Let's grab one set of canola seeds, and I think we also will be able to grow industrial hemp, which will be something that we'll need in the future, no doubt. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Let's go ahead and put this in here and turn these on. With any luck, this will do something. I don't... Yeah. Okay, that'll get us industrial hemp when you turn those on, and hopefully that will be a good source of hemp for us. Now, if I was feeling really frisky, I could probably go ahead and use wheat as well here. That would probably be a good thing to do, and that will give us more wheat back. Maybe I'll do that later on. We're not going to worry about that at this exact moment. We are going to take credit for our canola quest. There's our industrial hemp coming in, and hopefully right after this we will see our canola. There's our canola. Okay, great. So we can get credit for that quest line. Just lock that off there. Great. Okay, wonderful. Now we can move on to some more interesting things. I think that we are going to be doing some straining soon, it looks like. So we need to make some floppers, at least 3 of them. And we are going to use 2 of those to make an ambient water collector. So let's get started on that real quick. So floppers are real easy. We just need to use the stone gears we'd already made and some smooth stone. So let's see here, 1, 2, 3 of those. Put all the rest of this back. And then we need to make an ambient water collector. For that, we do need another one of our simple machine frames, which we make with wooden gears and stone gears. That then goes into the center, and that gives us our flopper and our ambient water collector. Wonderful. So these we get bucks for. Give me my tech bucks there. Thank you. Wooden strainers are just literally using sticks in a circle pattern here. So let's make a donut. There is our wooden mesh. Wonderful. And then now we can use this to make a strainer. So let's add this. It looks like we actually need 2 meshes for this, and we are going to need a simple machine frame in addition to more logs. So let's grab up a stack of logs from here. We will go ahead and make another mesh up real fast. That's not how we do that. There's a second mesh. Wonderful. And I'm just going to throw that over there apparently. And now we should be able to make our machine frame. And then that should be everything that we need to make a strainer. Great. Okay, so now we have a strainer. It says that we need a block of fluid above it, and that means that we are going to need a flopper to get this put down. Now, this befuddled me a couple of times when I tried this in a previous playthrough when I was demoing this pack, so we are going to see if we can get this to work properly, but I might need to put this down 3 or 4 times to get it to work correctly. I believe you need an extra block to make this work. So let's go ahead and start planning for future expansion here with this. So I think I'm gonna let's go behind all of this stuff, like over to this side, and we'll sit down our strainer like right here. Clear ourselves just a little bit of room, cut down some of the grass that's tall. I think we put that there. We put our strainer down on top of that, and I believe the water block is going to need to go right here. If I remember correctly, this also means that we need a way of containing that water, so I will go ahead and make ourselves up some trapdoors. I think we're going to need 2 sets of trapdoors. There we go. All right, and the dirt block is going to represent where the water is going to go. I think if we put a flopper placed into that the water will flow there. And then we should be able to put a trapdoor on each of these. I think I want these to be on the bottom though, just because I'm being particular about it. I think this should hold the water block in place once we actually generate it, just like that. And now we can use our, what is it? It's not an aqueous accumulator, it is an ambient water collector. Sure, yeah, that's what we're calling it. Okay, friends, we'll put this here. And now this should produce water. Once we get a bucket of water, it should put it right here on top of our strainer. So just waiting a second for that to fill up. All right, there, it has placed a bucket of water right above the strainer here. And now I believe this strainer probably also needs a mesh. Let's see here. Yeah, and we have a variety of available meshes here, including the wooden mesh that we were starting with. On our strainer list, it looks like if we put a wooden mesh down that we can get a variety of things here, including wheat, some clay balls, which we're going to need for the next section, and then all of our regular normal ingredients. Is there anything more interesting here that we can make? How about a string mesh? What does that get us in a strainer? Is that basically the same? Yeah, it looks like that's exactly the same. So I assume what we want to do here is just go ahead and make a wooden one because that's cheap enough for us. So again, we make our donut block here of our various sticks, just like that. We come back over here to our strainer, and now we can put this in as well as our dirt. And now all of that dirt should get strained through here and give us some clay momentarily. While that's going, I'm gonna go ahead and use our oak leaves here to make another half stack of dirt. Is that half a stack? I think that's right. Yeah, half a stack of dirt. Although this is telling me maybe I should have made a few more shears upgrades if this is the only way that we're going to be able to get large amounts of dirt here. So let's see how we are doing. There is our clay balls. That completes our next quest, and we are doing pretty good already. Okay, so to move water around, we are going to need buckets. So we need to make some unfired clay buckets that we can then fire. And now we can also make some bricks here with the extra clay. So I think it's 3 pieces of clay to make a bucket, if I remember correctly. It should be just like this. There we go. And we can go ahead and use one of our furnaces here to make that. And we will use the other furnace that we've got open here to make our single brick that we need to complete that quest. So we get credit for that. And it looks like we are going to be on to furnaces soon here. So bricks are made with individual bricks, 4 of them makes a stack, and then similarly we need to make a brick furnace, which is going to be a circle of bricks, and then that we use to make a blast furnace, which we can use to turn cobblestone directly into smooth stone. Oh, that's going to be really useful. All right, so let's try and rush ahead to get these things done. I am going to wait till we have enough clay, and then I will be back in a second and we can work on these. Alright, so we have our ceramic bucket and our bricks. We can go ahead and knock those off and get credit for them. That moves us on to bricks and brick furnaces. So, brick furnaces are real easy. We just make a loop. There we go. Now we get credit for that. Then we need to make ourselves a stack of bricks here, or not a stack, but 3 pieces of brick. gonna get credit for that quest, and now we should be able to make a brick blast furnace with no trouble. Now, I had made a lot of extra bricks because I expected that we would want to get 2 of these, so let's go ahead and make a few more here. 1, 2, 3. And then 1 more of these. And I've already set up a nice area for these to live right here next to the rest of our auto smelting setup. We'll put that there, throw some chests on top per usual. And now we just need to insert our ingredients right here and right here. Okay, wonderful. Now I should have some extra charcoal coming in. I do. Let's convert that real fast into mini charcoal, and we will just load up this container with our mini charcoal. So these blast furnaces will be ready to go. Great. And if that recipe did not lie to us, we can take half a stack of our cobblestone, throw it in here, and this should turn into smooth stone for us with no additional trouble. And of course, we get a lot of tech bucks for our trouble here. Grab those up, wonderful. And now we can move on to these fluids real quick. So let's see here. Fluid pipes are going to be the next on our list, but that is locked behind glass. How do we get glass? Oh, we can blast sand to get glass. Okay, wonderful. So let's take up some of the sand we had already had, and we can put that in there to smelt down. I know that we're gonna need more than this, so I think what we'll do is we will just like hot swap that like so, and we'll put the extra stone back in here, and that hopefully will turn into glass for us really quick. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and crush all of this cobblestone into our sand for us. So that's gonna be a 2-step process. First, we whack it with a stone hammer to make gravel, and then we whack it again to make sand. All right, our sand is done and turned into glass, and now we also have a bunch more smooth stone. Wow, these new brick blast furnaces are a wonder. They're working really great for us. So with that, we should now be able to make fluid pipes here. Those look pretty easy. We do need a bunch of bricks to make them, but we do get 16 for our trouble. Let's go ahead and knock off this glass quest. It also looks like, let's see, wait, those are fluid pipes, right? We're not gonna be using a lot of those, I don't think, at this immediate juncture, but item pipes are gonna be really useful. That's gonna be way cheaper or easier for us to use than these wooden hoppers, and probably a lot faster too. So let's go ahead and make some of those while we're at it. Item pipe. Yeah, there we go, from Modern Dynamics. I'm not really familiar with that mod, so this will be a learning experience for all of us. All right. So we will grab up our bricks there. It looks like we do not yet have enough. However, I can come back over here, grab up the rest of my clay, and make some up real quick through the magic of TV. This should be done momentarily. All right, there is a mess of bricks for us. Let's go ahead and make up a few more of these real quick. So just like that, let's make our fluid pipes first so we get credit for that. There we go. And then our item pipes second. These are a little easier because we have smooth stone now. Wonderful, that gets us credit for that. It looks like we are gonna need a wrench per usual to actually do anything with these. So that's gonna be really easy for us. We just need to use our smooth stone and some sticks. It's a good thing I had made up a bunch of all of that earlier. Okay, there is a wrench. And now it looks like we need extractors and attractors. These are basically how we pipe in and out. So let's add that recipe. So I think these are functionally identical. It's just a question of where you put the hopper. So the hopper is on top there, the hopper is on bottom there, and then of course the chest goes into the opposite position of whichever one you're dealing with. So we're gonna need 1 and 2 hoppers here. There we go. We are almost out of our planks. Let's grab some more logs real quick from the stash. There we go. Our log stash is going well for us. And now we can use that to go ahead and make up some chests. I'm just gonna make up a bunch of chests because we're certainly gonna be using them here in the near future. Grab that and grab that. That takes care of those 2. Wonderful. So we got all of those rewards. And now let's see here, wooden hoppers can be used to upgrade extractors and attractors for better detection of NBT items like filled ceramic buckets. Okay, that is good to know. I'm not sure how that's gonna come in handy, but I'm sure we'll find out in the near future. All right, so now we need to make a strainer tank. I assume that this is just a fluid tank that can hold various liquids. Yeah, stores fluids. So let's go ahead and make one of those. I think it's just a normal tank recipe of a donut of glass. There we go, we have that. And now I'm noticing here that this is actually filling with water from our flopper. So that means to me that we actually didn't need to put our flopper on here. We just need the ambient water collector to go somewhere where we can continue to get water into it. So let's not lose all of the water that we've got. Let's see if we can't bucket this out. No, we cannot bucket this out. Okay, that's annoying. Can I bucket out from here? Yeah, that I can bucket out of. Okay, great. Oh, but this only holds 1 bucket of water at a time. Huh, that is fascinating. Okay, well, I tell you what, we will deconstruct this anyway. Let's be quick and be ready to put our trapdoor right on here. There we go, that is still full. We're gonna pull our ambient water collector off of here, and it doesn't look like it's using any of that water. Fascinating. Okay, well, let's put our flopper on here. We're gonna put our ambient water collector on top of this, and this can then fill with water as we need to pull water out of it. And now I am stuck with a bucket of water that I don't really need, so we'll figure that out as well. So that's our strainer tank. Let's get our tech bucks for that. It looks like this is a simple fluid input that we're going to be using in the near future. Oh, and we can also use 3 of our strainer tanks to make a basic fluid tank. Okay, that's fascinating. Maybe let's go ahead and do that because this one is not helping us at all. So I'm going to go ahead and make up that tank instead. That means we're going to take pretty much all of our glass here. So that should make our fluid tank just like that. And this I should now be able to replace here with this, and we will flood everything somehow. Okay, that's not right. That's definitely not right. Let me clean this up. All right, I had a minor mishap here setting this up the first time, so let's go ahead and try and do this again. There we go. Now it's working properly. I had put down this tank before I had removed the flopper, and that just meant water went everywhere, and that was a total mess. So now this is working perfectly for us. We should be good to go. So we've got credit for that quest line now done, and now all that's left on this is to do a simple fluid input. That means we need to make 1 more strainer tank, which means we need to go get a little more glass. Are we already out of glass? Okay, no problem. So let's grab up a little more glass here, and then we should be able to make up another one of those outputs or inputs, whatever. Which one are we making here? The fluid input. Okay, great. Let's not make sure we're doing the wrong one here. Strainer tank and then just wood planks around it should give us that. Perfect. All right, so we don't actually have any use for this at the moment, so let's just drop that off and we'll come back to it in the near future here. Perfect. Credit acquired, and that should take care of everything on this quest line except for, oh, we forgot to do our main output upgrade. Let's double back for that. We need to go grab our canola seed that we have somewhere in here. There's our canola, not the seeds, the actual canola. And we can use that to make ourselves 1 upgrade base. I am just totally out of ingredients at this point, y'all. All right, that is not a big deal. Can do that there, and now this should give us our upgrade just like so. Main output upgrade. Perfect. We will dump that in our cloche here for our industrial hemp. That should get us more hemp a little bit faster here. And we will dump the rest of our canola back in here. And as you heard, that did complete this entire quest line. Wonderful. So from here, we are on to the melting quest line. I've still got a few minutes left here, so we may as well get started a little bit here. And the first thing we need to do is make some grout. That means we need to get some gravel, some sand, and some more clay and combine that. So let me go mine a bunch of that up real quick with all of our cobblestone and the clay that we've been collecting. Also, so far, I find that the fastest way to actually mine this up is just make yourself a nice big tower and then just right click and fall down on it. That seems to go real smoothly for me. Seems to be the fastest way to get it. You don't want to go too tall with it though, because I do notice that some pieces end up going flying out all over the place if you do it this way sometimes. So we just want to do it kind of just like this. And again, the same works on our sand as well. Alright, we've got a whole bunch of stuff in hand. I'm going to make up a bunch of grout here, at least like a stack maybe. Maybe just like a stack and a little bit, so that we have a full stack of grout. And now I assume the next thing we're going to be doing is smelting this down. So made inside of a blast furnace. Yeah, no surprises there. Let's go over here to our brick blast furnace and put in all of our grout, and that should get cooking down pretty quick here. How are we doing on charcoal? Plenty of charcoal still left. We are good to go there. Wonderful. All right, and there's our blast bricks all done, and we can make more grout here when we are ready for it. So let's get credit for that quest. Next up, we need to make a fluid mover, and this allows us to get molten fluids moved around before we have buckets. So we're gonna make blast bricks. That's gonna be 4 blocks there, 4 bricks in basically a square pattern. And then we need to do, let's see here, a solidifier. That's gonna require a lot of bricks, a controller, that's just a circle of bricks, and a fuel tank, and that is a circle of bricks with some glass inside. Okay, that's gonna be a lot. So let's go ahead and make 1 more stack of grout up while we are at it, because I think what we're going to end up having happen here is that we're going to need a lot more than this. So let's go ahead and make those up and a little extra, and I will get those to smelting. And now we can start on making the rest of these items while that's going. So let's do the easy one first. Fluid mover, done, perfect, no problem. Blast bricks, again, easy, done, no problem. Solidifier, we need to make 6 sets of blast bricks here. So let's do that real quick. We're gonna do, let's just do that pattern. 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. And now we can take that and make 2 rows and put bricks around the sides like so. That gives us our solidifier. Controller, we are gonna need to make a circle of them, and if my math is correct, we should be able to do this with what we have smelted at this point, I believe. Let's see here, 8, yeah, we have just enough, basically. There is our controller done, wonderful. And let's see here, now we just need the fuel tank, and for that, hopefully we have enough bricks almost done for a fuel tank. No, not quite, so we're just gonna have to wait another few seconds. Oh, no, this is much easier, because we don't need bricks for this. We just need a piece of glass, and thankfully we had an extra piece of glass from our previous round. There is our fuel tank. Okay, that is now done. So let's just get credit for everything real quick there. Wonderful. We need to do a hot water bucket. Okay, so we take our water bucket and we put it in a blast furnace, and that becomes hot water for us. That's easy. Let's go over here, grab up our water. From here, now we have water, and we should be able to boil that in our blast furnace. Let's actually pull this out temporarily and turn that into our hot water. There we go, and now we can replace this. 1 ceramic hot water bucket. Excellent, that is done. And I think molten coal can be obtained when melting charcoal, mini charcoal, or charcoal dust in the controller. Okay, so I think we need to put this together like a Tinker's Smeltery. I think that's basically how this works, but we'll find out real quick here. Oh no, it looks like this is a little different here. Let's read the instructions a little closer. Can be used to melt, heart of casting, and fuel tank. Various fuels can be used to power the casting controller. So this has to go next to the casting controller, I think. So give me that. Let's put you here. And do you need to go next to it or under it? Well, we're gonna find out real quick. If I put hot water in there, oh yeah, it acknowledges that. And let's grab up some of our charcoal here and see if it'll let us smelt this up. Let's do, what do you say, like 9 pieces? And that should then turn into molten charcoal for us. Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna take credit for that. We need to make gear molds. That's gonna be easy for us. 4 pieces of black brick. And then we're gonna need a block mold, and that's gonna mean even more pieces of brick. How are we doing on bricks? I think we have just enough to complete this. So let's go ahead and put this together. Block mold, we're gonna grab 1 of our various gears up. We're gonna use wood for this, and that gives us a gear mold. Okay, great. Credit for that done. Perfect. There we go. And I think that's gonna be pretty good for us. Well friends, I think this is a good stopping point. We're about to get into all sorts of smelting and casting, and we have a long way to go in that section of the quest line, so I'm gonna take a pause right now, but we will be back later to finish out that quest line. So thanks again for watching this episode of Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye friends!